It has been a long while, old friend. For years, we have awaited your return to take your rightful place as King of the Shower. Behold, the resurrection of the Chosen One. But wait, it cannot be. You are an imposter. Who are you? And how dare you call yourself the Drunken Pumpkin? Boo, man! And welcome to a Dr. Squatch soap guide. Today we have the return of the Drunken Pumpkin. Or do we? This is a Halloween limited offered by Dr. Squatch, one with quite a backstory, which I feel is very relevant to reviewing this bar. But if you don't, feel free to skip ahead. Now, I'm sure many of you veteran Squatchers noticed that it bears the name of a fabled bar, once released many years ago, as one of Squatch's first limited editions, and their very first Halloween bar, predating the Brick of the Dead by a year. Many, myself included, consider that bar to be one of the all-time greats. It was a fantastic brick, and quickly became a fan favorite. However, rather than re-release it, Dr. Squatch decided to repurpose its scent into an OG, the Wood Barrel Bourbon. Although the scents of those two bars are still very different, but I guess Squatch deemed them close enough to not re-release the Halloween flavor, despite the demand for it. That is, until the Headless Rinse came around. With the demand from fans and a lack of a true pumpkin bar, it made sense for Squatch to drop this spooky boy, but with a new Headless Horseman theme to fit their monster-themed lineup. Now again, the Headless Rinse was not the original Drunken Pumpkin, but it was pretty damn good in its own right, and seemed like the closest we'd ever get to having that bar back. But I think that was enough for most Squatchers. Still though, it didn't have that Drunken Pumpkin name that just rolls off the tongue. And so it seems, after 4 years, Squatch has finally brought it back, at least in name, because it becomes apparent quickly that this is a very different brick. So today, we'll see how this new spooky boy fares, while Dr. Squatch will see how much they can milk a pumpkin. As for the unique ingredients, we really only have 2 of note for today. It's not as stacked as some other pumpkin bars out there, including Squatch's. But let's start with the highlighted pumpkin seed powder. Now, pumpkin is just one of the best ingredients out there. It's full of antioxidants, boosts collagen production, it is just very nourishing and hydrating. It also helps to repair skin. It has anti-aging and anti-inflammatory properties, fighting against skin ailments. There is also pumice, which we'll be adding our medium grit here today. I'm sure you know all about pumice by now, but this will add exfoliation to the bar, helping to clear away dead skin and impurities, allowing for the pumpkin suds to clean deeper. Overall, this looks to be a solid brick, but let's try this fall boy out to truly reap the benefits. The scent is not that of the classic Halloween bar. Instead, it's very much its own thing. Gone is any bourbon or cologne notes, and in is a breezy, sporty scent. It's more of what I would consider a body wash style, similar to something like the Fresh Falls. So I don't mean that negatively. What I mean is it's a clean, fresh smell. However, it does have a pumpkin edge to it, giving it a more fall feel. There really is no spice here though, so it's really not a pumpkin spice, rather it's more sweet. I've seen some liken it to candy corn, and I could see that, but personally I don't think it's quite that sweet. Without the fall spice, it isn't as warm as some other pumpkin bars, but it does have a crisp breeziness to it that does still make it feel like a Halloween or autumn brick. It does have a good potency to it as well. It's not the strongest on the menu. The scent isn't a bold or intense one, but you can definitely smell it. It's a good amount. It is though pretty synthetic. This is not a natural pumpkin, pumpkin butter, or fall spice smell. Instead, I think I would describe it as a sporty pumpkin, something I never thought I'd say. The clean of this bad boy is also not that of the classic Halloween bar. To be honest, it's just not as deep cleaning or moisturizing as most pumpkin bricks out there, including those of Dr. Squatch, which I find tend to be some of the best feeling bars on their menus. This Drunken Pumpkin isn't bad. I'd say it's mostly a standard Squatch wash, maybe a bit above average, so pretty good overall. It does feel clean and fresh. The grit, I would say, is somewhere between light and medium. There is a noticeable amount of pumice here, but nothing crazy. Now I was going to end this section with a joke or a pun, but like Squatch, I'm running out of ideas. Now as for my thoughts, I don't mind the Drunken Pumpkin. I just wish it wasn't the Drunken Pumpkin. To me, this is easily the worst of the Squatch Halloween collection, which I think is a fantastic lineup. I think it pales in comparison to the original Drunken Pumpkin and the Headless Rinse, which does a much better job of living up to that classic bar. Still though, on its own, in a vacuum, this is a solid brick overall. I think I'll put it as a higher end, quite alright. I think it does a lot of things well, but nothing great. Honestly, I kinda liked the Flamin' Hot Brick better. You mains though have a much higher opinion of it than me, with many of you ranking it very highly. I'd be curious how many of you have tried the original Drunken Pumpkin, and I'd also be curious whether or not you prefer this boy to the Headless Rinse. Still, I did notice many of you were disappointed with this release. I think when you compare the original Drunken Pumpkin to the new one, you really see how much Squatch has changed. The return of the Drunken Pumpkin was by far the most requested thing for years, and when Squatch does finally bring it back, it's a completely different bar, and really just seems like they're trying to cash in on that name. Newer customers will buy it because it's a new brick, and they may not know about the original version, and old customers will flock to buy it because of that classic name, just to be disappointed. But that's only my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments. Are you a fan of this new spooky bar, or do you wish the Drunken Pumpkin had just stayed dead? Until next time, stay spooky. Boom, man!